What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at the IEM Cologne 2023 play-in, and I'm going to start off by looking at Blast Group's lineup and how it's doing so far. Heroic versus Navi just finished, so Shush got some pretty decent points. So Mantu is still yet to get points for the day. So far, looking pretty okay. Top 12% as of now, so getting some decent points. We should hope that essentially Mantu needs to be a difference maker as well as Saiwu for this lineup to really come into its own. We need Hampus, Mantu to get a lot of points, and then Saiwu to get a lot of points, because Shush and Flamesy are kind of already doing their part. I also wanted to... Wait, this is wrong. This is groups. I don't want to look at you. I want to look at you. So what is like the best lineup right now? Yeah, double Heroic, double Vitality, and an IP in Hampus. Because Cadian and Stone so far are getting a lot of points, as well as like some of the other players on Vitality. But there's a lot of games yet to be played, so things can move quite a lot. For example, if Shush starts to pick up points, he could be better than Cadian. Same with Saiwu, of course, if he has one life game in the next one. Like if he completely destroys, I believe, were they playing? I don't know. Oh, but this is just a quick check-in. So essentially, for this to do even better than it's doing, we need Hampus, Mantu, Saiwu to step it up a bit. And there's chances to get really high points. Boosters and rolls, like this roll is not working out too well so far. We are like plus minus nil. I would rather have support. For now, main op here, no idea. Multifragger, of course, working out. This worked out very well, so Heroic 2-0 so far. And then, yeah, Flamesy somehow didn't get enough entry frags versus Complexity. I guess that's a problem when kind of everyone is stepping up, getting those entries. Booster-wise, didn't get boosters here, so we've only got... Well, we've got 20 booster points so far. Mantu got... I remember I was watching, so... He got a triple flash assist in one of the rounds. So he got 3 flash assists in one round to get most of the flash assists for the booster. Here I think we got both of the boosters hitting. So KSD and top of scorecard, hopefully this is going to also trigger, and hopefully they're going to win. Because then Saiwu, and if Saiwu really has a great map in the next one, he could actually be worth the price tag. That's what we're hoping for. Shush didn't get this booster, but got the full feeling 22 booster points. And then, yeah, he's not gotten either of his boosters to hit, unfortunately. But okay, enough about the one going on. And let's get into the new one. So this one, I was already kind of theory crafting. There's some ideas on what I could be doing. Essentially, I mean, I've been kind of agonizing with which teams I want to pick and which players I want to pick, because there's pretty good possibilities. If you look at like the most picked players so far, this hasn't been out for too long, but a lot of Mouse Sports and Furia, which makes a lot of sense, especially Furia to me. This seems like a set of matchups that they should get through. Oh yeah, I guess I should explain the format. So it's a double elimination bracket where the top 8 advance, and it's only this stage of the tournament. So there are 4 teams that are gonna go 2-0 and then directly go through. They're gonna get padding, like potentially really high ratings. So it's a somewhat random event. At least they have now changed it, so the best of ones don't matter as much. But still, I would say kind of random, because essentially even if you predict the winning teams, you have to kind of predict the correct players out of those winning teams. So there's a lot of randomness. But yeah, so that means that from this group of teams, you should pick essentially players, then this group, this group, this group. And Mouse Sports, in my opinion, is better than the Mongols into the breach and NIP, so that's why they are and heavily picked as well. Some decently priced players. I think they're a better team now that they have Shui and Yimpat in the team. This is a tough group of teams to rate. I think all of these teams could win this. I think if I had to pick one team to do so, it would be Complexity, but I could definitely see this new Fnatic lineup doing it. 9 is also an option, especially because they are the only team that didn't do any changes. The problem is they just did so badly last time around in the major. If we go event ended. Just in Rio they did. I don't know why this time doesn't have a ranking for them. But then again, they now did very well in this second EU qualifier for Gamers 8. There are some okay teams there. It could be worth a pick. Then this one is also kind of tough to predict because Apex big. Apex is a decent team. Now bringing in Kakanito instead of JL. I don't know how well they're gonna do. Big have to play without Mantu for this one. I wouldn't rate them too highly. But then again, this is happening in Cologne or Cologne. Maybe it could be a good one as well. And then Astralis or Liquid could both be good teams. It's a hard one to predict to me. I'm probably gonna stay away from these 4 teams. And then here, Monty without Boros. Not really a team I am too excited by. I don't think Bro is that great of a player probably for them. And then Imperial changed quite a lot. Furia, I think these are upgrades that they've made in Fallen and Cello coming in. I think Furia. I'm going double Furia, double Mouse in this one. I think it's just the safest bet. I think those are the teams and players that I expect the most out of in this one. And then I just need to think about where I want to get that 5th player. Right now, I'm kind of feeling 9 might be the team. But also depends on the prices. So a couple players who I've been looking at are, for example, Roy at 185 under new leadership. Could definitely get some of his old form back. He's not done like terribly in the past events. Like looking at this, they didn't have the greatest Rio or the Paris major, or he didn't at least, but like he could still get some stuff done here. I mean, we all know that he's capable of fragging, so he's an option for me as a 5th. Other players I've been thinking about, I'm not really rating Apex, Liquid, Monty. I think I'm going double Mouse, and there's like options between. I think Torji is probably a pick here for that price point as the cheapest player on them, with AWP, with how well he's done with Shui in the past. I could honestly see anyone picking any of these. I probably wouldn't pick Yimpat, even though that rating looks really juicy, and he did well for Mouse in his like first outing for them in online. But the price is a bit on the high side for a player who's gonna do supportive duties, and then again, it's also like the first bigger event for him, so there could be some nerves on a 16-year-old. Instead, I would probably go towards, like, if I could pick any 2 players, it would probably be Zersh and Torji, but it all depends on prices, of course. Like Shui and Frozen are definitely options as well. I wouldn't go for NIP. They're just looking really bad so far without Alexi and with Hampus. The only player I would consider is Hampus, who is looking alright, and that's a very good price for him. But the problem is that he's on the same bracket side as Mouse. Furia, I think Fallen, Cello. You could pick any of these players. It's a big gamble because leadership changes always can impact like the amount of fragging players do. But I think Fallen and Cello are probably the safest, or like not the safest, but probably some of the best picks, and those are pretty high on the list. Art, of course, for that price, being relieved of in-game leader duties could be very good. It's definitely something I'm thinking of between these 3, or maybe Queserado alongside Art. A lot of options here. I wouldn't go Astralis, as I said, because they're facing Liquid first round. Fnatic, other Fnatic players like Dexter, maybe. He's just, of course, not very impressive individually. He does have those maps or matches where he can kind of pop off and do super well. So if he has one of those in the best of ones or even one of the best of 3 games, it's of course possible, but it could also backfire very hard. Depends a lot. It's an option. Imperial, I don't know what to think of them right now. Like, there's a lot of these teams that which are like, I'm gonna wait and see on them. Like Imperial, like I have no idea where to put them right now. I don't want to really go near them. 9 is an interesting option. Someone like Hades, for example, could very well be a good pick. Any of these guys could. Actually, the price differences based on ratings are pretty weird here. Like some like Key. How has he been doing in the recent ones? Like he's kind of their secondary guy is Key. I don't know what to, like, because of the role changes, I don't really know what to do with him though. Sorry about that. Of course Hades is an option, but money-wise, Key might actually be an option here. And then just, it depends on what you want to do with the role, but it could work out. You could go Goofy as well with 1.13 CT. I'll think about this. ITB, these changes don't excite me too much except for Bimas, but they're also the same bracket side as Mouse. Complexity actually looked pretty okay. I think someone like Grim could be a decent pick as well as a Liege. These could work out. It really just depends on what this matchup here brings. But I think 9 might be a better pick either way than either of those. Greyhound, Mongols, Big, and OG I don't really care for. There's no cheap, like the only one I might think about as a cheap option is like Sensei at 182. As the Oper, he's like the Oper of the Academy team, but apparently he's not really even bragging for the Academy team, so not really a player I'm too excited about. But I'm thinking about this Key guy. There might be a combination of Fury and Fnatic players that makes sense here. 210, obviously you could go now Yuri. Like, that's not the worst combination you could make. How would this work role-wise? So it would be obviously entry art. I don't think, even with these changes, that art is gonna be off entering duties. You could entry exertion, but I don't know if that's the best thing. And then op Torji for sure. Actually, it could be entry, like IGL art as well. It just depends, because best of 1, so it's just one best of 3 that the team even plays. IGL art could work. IGL Key, it's tough. Yes, the matchups are kind of hard. CT rating or Key, this could work. There's like so many like things to think about here. I'll keep that one in mind though, that draft. Like Torshi Xertion is what I kind of want to go for, and then like Fallen Cello. Like this is at 200 grand, but there's no good 200 grand option, which is very unfortunate. Like I would want to pick Roy to some extent because he's got very high upside, like potential upside. There's no really, like there's no 215 Furia guy. Like if Queserado was 215, absolutely I would pick him up instead here. You don't quite have the money to pick up like a Frozen, which is also an option. And there's no real way to get that extra money except for going with like art. But then you have like way too much money. Like 30 grand, and I mean, this is still 1 grand off. There's no way to pinch 1 grand off anyone, not really. It's all very awkward. I tried so many different combinations already here, but it all kind of seems to not be that great. This guy's like 1 grand over. Like I would go Goofy probably with Torji, Xertion, Fallen Jello, Goofy. That would probably be pretty good. if only ITB was in a different, like if ITB was here or here, or especially here. This one is hard to pick from because of Australis Liquid, like except if you want to go for either Australis or Liquid as the gamble. Problem is that the prices of like Liquid, like Patsy's price already kind of skyrocketed for whatever reason. If it was still like, what was it, 186k, that would probably be who I would be going for. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And Australis, the problem is that only Stair is really worth it unless you want to go big on device or Blamaf, but that doesn't really seem like the best idea either. Super difficult. Like Grim is an option, or Elige. Elige is just monetarily in that awkward position. Olzerk hasn't really been doing too well. Like these prices are kind of weird. Look at this. Olzerk hasn't done that well lately. But the Grim could be an option at 193. Just need to find the correct combination of players to make that worthwhile. 7 grand in the bank, so this just doesn't work out like you'd want it to. It's just like Rim is also roll-wise weird. There's no one. You're not really excited about him in terms of role, even though he has high potential upside. It would probably be like Elisa's entry that you should go for if you want to go for the complexity gamble on the 5th. But then money wise, yeah, like 1 grand off this, as I thought. Of course, you could go for different players. You could not go for Zershan. You could go for Shui instead. 406 grand, and it's still like awkward. Like, this is decent. If you want to go for this, I'm not mad at you. It's just that I'm not so sure about picking Shui. How would this go in terms of, like, again, we have 2 entry fraggers essentially. This would have to be CT rating. I wish Shui is so much better at CT. Oh my god. But yeah, Torshi op. Elige CT, probably. I don't mind this lineup though, because I think Furia has the hardest, I mean the easiest route, so, and Caserado is great. Elige was impressive in that first outing, but was it just like... Of course, only good in the first match. Then he was like really bad against Vitality, but then again, that's like Vitality. You can't really be too mad about that. Who are like the most picked players again? I don't understand Yakindar Patsy that much. Like Yakindar decent. I wouldn't go Patsy probably for that price. Campus for this price is decent. Shui is actually most picked. I guess it just works out money-wise quite well. You could go Kakanito here, but no, it's also risky. Everything is so risky here. What was that lineup with... What about Hades? I don't want to throw 210 grand there though. Kylar... No, probably not Kylar or Minio. Like key... What sort of key lineup was I looking at earlier? It's like, this is so hard to pick. I think there's way too many options here, unfortunately. Like, just super hard. I don't even know what the lineup was that I was thinking here. Oh yeah, it was Art Yuri, but I'm not that convinced about Yuri. He was good in Dallas. That was their last event. But he was so bad at the major. That's what I was kind of thinking about. Apart from that, though, he has been doing quite well. Of course, leadership changes are always awkward, but this does fully use up my money. So I'm just not that convinced about Key. I'm not convinced about anyone as my fifth. That's the problem, really. Like, Roy is probably the player I would want the most, but just money-wise, let's try and make Roy work. How do I make him work? This leaves only 3 grand in the bank. Torji, Sershin, Shello, Yuri, Roy. Main op. Headshots probably. I mean, this could work. I want to see the roles. How do roles work here? This main op has to be the pick. Probably headshots, right? I want to make sure there's nothing weird here. Yeah, headshots has to be the best. You don't have to go IGL anymore. That's something I need to kind of keep in mind. This is so weird. Like, roles are so odd now. It could be IGL Yuri. Everything else is just weird. Like T side versus IGL. Yeah. I'll get back to that. Entry Urshan for sure, right? Yeah, entry Urshan has to be the case. And Roy. Actually, Roy entries quite a bit as well. Like defender 2542. Quite similar. Pretty good T side actually for Urshan. And entry fragger 5036. 44, 44, very similar again. But I think it might be better to have Roy as the entry here. And then Zershin on one of these other ones. Like multi-fragger actually looks pretty good for him as well. It's a bit better than the other one. So yeah, then multi-fragger is out for you. But I mean, IGL on Yuri could actually be the thing to go for here. They just haven't won much lately, but these have to be wins for them. I think that's the gamble you go for here. Rather than CT rating even. Why is Yuri 1.21 CT rating, but such horrible defender? I guess because max bonus needs to be 1.35 on the plus. I think leader is just better than CT rating nowadays. I mean, CT rating seems so hard to get consistent full points out of. Stat Hunter is not bad. I think this is probably the way to go here. I might change roles eventually, but I think this is the lineup and this is the roles that I will go for. I think I'm hitting most of the things I want. I have the Roy, which is my favorite 5th player. So that makes sense for me. Zershin is my favorite player to watch on mouse, and I think he's just one of the best players on mouse, like on top of Frozen and Yimpat. But Yimpat is possibly slightly overcosted still, as he's playing supportive roles for mouse when he played more star roles in mouse and XT. Torji has high potential upside and low potential downside. I don't think he's gonna be really bad ever in this event. Cello is just a headshot guy that they brought in. I don't like that's not gonna change. I think he's gonna do quite well here, possibly. You could go Fallen here if you wanted, but I think this just roll-wise as well works out better. And then leader Yuri, because I do think Furia is gonna kind of farm here. Okay. Just to make sure. Best of 1. Wins all matches of best of 3, best of 5 on best of 1. Or best of 1 in regulation. All bonus team wins best of or best of one in overtime. Ah, okay. So if it goes to OT, that's how it works in BO1. That makes sense. Okay, boosters. I'm so exhausted by this. KST, I suppose, should be one. I mean, there's so many. Actually, there's so few rounds, right? So booster wise, we get 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 boosters get played. Almost half of the boosters will not get played here. I mean, I want to go big or go home here. I do think you have to go for Yuri or Cello as peeling 20. I mean, probably, yeah, peeling 22 on Yuri just to get the leader points. I think that has to be a thing that happens here. What are some of the other boosters that I should absolutely be using here? I'm like, of course, like we just don't use this. Against the quad kill Cello is actually quite likely. Avenger could be fine here. What is the best roll on Roy? Best pistol round is one of the best ones on Roy. Plus bait is one of the higher ones. Damn, it becomes difficult now. Because you need to kind of balance a lot of these guys. Because boosters are now more likely to trigger, I suppose. Which boosters am I for sure gonna use? This one I am for sure gonna use. But, oh yeah, it's best of one as well. Oh my god, I need to think so much. Let me take a sip. There's way too much thinking involved in fantasy right now. So I need to plan out all of the boosters that I'm gonna use for both best of threes and the best of ones. Hard to choose here. These two not gonna use. This one not gonna use. Top of scorecard Zertian. I just don't have faith that top of scorecard is so good for these players, especially in best of one. I think aimbot. How are headshot percentages on Greyhound? Do they have someone with insane headshots? If they don't, no one would. They have Vexite. I still think it probably is worth it to go for this here. What a Cello as well. 25 or more frags. Assist is really likely for Roy, so it should definitely go on Roy for either this or the next matchup. What is the other Roy booster? I suppose we should figure that out now. So either bait. This probably goes on Yuri. So probably bait and assist. I'll just use bait now. Yeah, I'd rather have it against. Yeah, okay. So bait here and then assist on the second round. What are some of the best Torji boosters? There's not that many great ones on Torji. So Saver, yes. This Saver is way better on Yuri, but it's gonna be easier games. I don't want to use Saver against the Mongols. Seems unlikely to trigger. Surviving lost rounds. I mean, how many rounds are they gonna lose? Flash Assist probably actually makes the cut here. And then Avenger maybe. Probably Avenger and Saver. I mean, Flash Assist. Flash Assist probably makes it. Let's say it makes it here. I don't know. Very, very difficult to place these. Yeah, assist goes on Roy. What do I guess top of scorecard has to be Xertion in one of these. But what is the other one that goes on him? I mean, bait actually is better. Maybe it's not bait on you, and it's actually wait, what was it? Bait and I mean cannon fodder. Yeah, I guess it's bait and no, it's top of. Well, okay, then it's top of scorecard and cannon fodder on Xertion, right? Yeah, and then yeah, this here. Okay. So what are the 5 boosters that I'm not using now that are gonna get used? I suppose it's gonna be best pistol. What are about 50 to trigger? Best pistol, assist, ace or quad rather, cannon fodder, and then probably avenger or something like that. Okay, I'm done. I'm so done. This is way too much thinking for one person. I think I'm pretty happy with this lineup. I'm hitting most of the notes that I want to. I'm getting a lot of the players that I was thinking I would like. Yuri has done better than I thought in the past few events, except for the major. But the whole of Yuri did badly. I think he can definitely do quite well here. But yeah, if you enjoy this kind of content, leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and you will never miss one of my fantasy videos ever again. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.